Welcome back to the OPL, where we are 1-1 in Chiefs versus Legacy. Legacy, of course, still undefeated in best of threes and OPL Legend. They hit back really hard in that game too, with very impressive macro play, at least in my opinion. However, I do have two handsome experts on the desk with me, Fish and Atlas, and we're going to have a look at game number 3. So we've already talked about game number 1. Legacy made the right adjustments, we feel, with Tally's champion, with King's champion. Where do we go from here with the Chiefs?
Well, I just want to say that we have a very broad explanation for what expert means on this particular desk. But what I want to talk about is the bottom lane here from Legacy. They managed to get the Callista. What that does, most importantly, is unlock Regret. We saw Regret get picked off multiple times in game number 1. Game number 2, he's on the Morgana. He's able to set up these picks, and then you've got a gigantic King dancing around the map, using that martial pose really, really nicely, but also able to save Regret at exactly the right time the whole way through the game. They were limping away with very small health margins after winning trades on the side of Legacy, after all of this phenomenal map play, and there was just no way that the Chiefs could punish it effectively.
I agree with that completely, and it's something that you mentioned to me, Spawn, during the break, which is even though Legacy out-macroed the Chiefs, in those team fights, they were still almost going in Chiefs' favor. Game 1, Legacy didn't take the game to Chiefs. Game 2, although Chiefs played well and had an idea how they wanted to win the game, they didn't execute that as well as Legacy did. For them to bounce back in Game 3, they need to come up with that execution strategy that they had in Game 1.
And once again, I feel like there is an elephant in this room. Swiper, he is a tank player. Well, actually, no, he's a Tryndamere and tank player. Kayle.
Yeah, look, he needed to bind the ultimate, I think. Maybe binding the ultimate would have been a good idea, because there are a few fights at the beginning of that game where he was level 8, I believe, in that first skirmish, and the ultimate was
Everyone died. It was an ace. No one got ultimate.
Yeah, and that was a second where someone wouldn't have died. So I have a feeling that that could have been a big issue.
And I really like the Kayle pick, because a lot of the ways that Legacy were going to win fights against the Chief is singling somebody out, picking them off, and then fighting the rest of the team. But Chiefs were just never grouped up as that 5-man team every time Legacy wanted to fight them.
All I'm going to say is shout out to my boy Pac-Man, because he is a huge Kayle fan and hated it in that composition. And when Pac-Man does not like you picking Kayle, Kayle probably shouldn't be picked in the comp. So that's something that I am just going to say.
We also need to preface the fact that Pac-Man also picked Kayle in the OPL and didn't quite find
no, don't take that. Pac-Man's Kayle is good.
No,
do not take that for granted. He is a very, very good Kayle player. So now, like, this comes down to experience. Surely it's a best of 3. Both these teams 1-1. You know, you've got Carbon, very, very good leader. Like, I'll go as far as to say, like, right now, from what I've seen of Carbon, he's the best captain in the OPL, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fantastic leader up against the collective voice that is the Chiefs. You know, you've got Ejim, you've got Spooks, you've got Swiffer up there in that team. Like, is it a shot calling thing? Like, what are we looking for out of these teams? Is it going to be heavy macro plays? Is it just going to be an O-Sprawl? Like, where are we going?
I really hope we bring it back to the O-Sprawl. That's what I want to see out of game
Shyvana
number 3. Yeah, I want to go to standard lanes. I want everyone to pick, like, these fighting laners as well. I want the Jax to come back. I want, like, a Jax Pantheon matchup in the top lane, something ridiculous where everyone's just wanting to smack on each other. That'd be the dream. But I like that you bring up Carbon here, because I want to talk about that last game and what it changed for Carbon. Because this guy now has his Cocoon button. We all know that his Elise is fantastic, but he's not on the Nidalee. He's not on sort of the super farm invade style jungle.
He's not on a follow-up. He's on an engage.
He's on an engage. He's the one that can move into the jungle, get these picks rolling. And we saw that once they get rolling, there's Dark Bindings, there's Wild Growth, there's everything to follow up this one move that star captain can actually make happen.
I completely agree with that fact of Carbon. Massive respect to Legacy as well. Very strong team, work really well together. But the big thing for me was Game 1 for the Chiefs. With Swiffer back in the lineup and how they played Game 1, if they can use that same thing they did in Game 1 to bounce back in Game 3, I think it's going to be huge for the Chiefs.
I completely agree.
All right. I'm a very forgiving person. It's 1-1 right now, Atlas. You told me that the Chiefs were going to win 2-1. Do you want to change?
It is actually really, really hard. And I feel like our desk is really strange, because the fact that we predicted Chiefs at the beginning is super odd, considering how incredibly well Legacy
I just have no idea.
have actually started out the season.
Come on, mate. Stop stalling for time.
But no, I can't change. I can't change.
You can't change. Fish, I know you can change. Do you want to change?
I've done it so many times. And you know what? Carbon's really, really impressed me, and that's why Chiefs are going to win 2-1, actually.
Chiefs are going to win 2-1, and that's about as logical as you get out of the man. You know what? I'm just going to flip a coin. I honestly don't care. This has been a very good League of Legends series, and I cannot wait to see the close of it. So we are going to get you guys into Game 3. Here is pastry time for Oscar and Rusty.
Well, I certainly care because it's going to be an awesome end to the series, one way or the other. Pastry time for Oscar and Rusty still here, bringing you the final game of this evening. We talked about the series, massive first 2 games so far, exactly what we wanted from it, and you just can't have it any other way in Chiefs Legacy. Of course we go the distance here in this one.
You couldn't have scripted it better. Like, come on.
Wouldn't make
we
sense
did.
otherwise. And
This is going to come down to a base race. It's going to be like a 55-minute game. There's going to be a backdoor.
Break the CS
Swiffer's going to
records.
X-Pack
Rift
A.
Herald to get 2
Yeah.
kills. No, we're not NA. Let's not be silly.
Well, we'll see.
PvE is hard.
We'll see just how epic the game can go. But it's always great between these two sides as we will swap back and get to Champs Select for the last time here between these two. Gangplank Nautilus is going to be the ban, so it feels like the teams are going to stick to what they know, at least as far as the initial drafting goes.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of concerns still with drafting Game 2 from the Chiefs. Was very questionable. Of course, they mentioned on the desk the Kayle. Don't really think it fit in too well. The Nautilus was where Swiper was actually standing out as a strong performer. Maybe wants to go back towards those tanks once again.
Which is why I really like the Nautilus ban from Legacy coming out here, and it also makes Poppy that much higher priority pick. Poppy, Trundle, we've seen it constantly, kind of that rotation to take it away.
Yep.
I feel like those are the 2 champions that everyone's going to be fighting over right now.
Well,
There's still the Closet Fiora that Swiper's just keeping hidden away.
Yep.
He's a very good Fiora player, so I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls that one out as the wild card.
Well, I like the Brawn there from Chiefs. Alistar actually banned by Legacy, so support pool shrinks pretty dramatically
Bard.
between these two. Bard is an
believe.
obvious one. They're both good Thresh players.
Morgana as well, we just saw.
We did
It's
see
going to be
more.
Morgana Thresh, but I want the Bard.
Well, there's Zed. So neither of those are Morgana and Bard or Thresh.
Nice.
So it's still available. I'm trying to keep the hope alive for you,
There's a
Frosker.
chance.
There is a chance.
Please, Bard. Please, Ejim.
I mean,
Bard.
they're actually both Bard players as well,
Yep.
so you could see that. But I think Kallista's the most obvious champion that's still left up here.
I want Bard Sivir on the same team. Can I make the comp? I want.
Well, there's
Poppy,
Corki banned, so there's
Gragas.
Kog'Maw for the Chiefs.
Oh.
You're going to have to calm it down.
They have to pick Lulu.
They have to pick Lulu Gragas.
Of course they have to pick Lulu.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, potentially Trundle.
Lulu Poppy.
I like Poppy.
Poppy, absolutely. I think like they could go towards the Elise as well, so this is the real question mark. I think Lulu is the only necessity at the moment. To take that away from the Chiefs' composition, do they want the Poppy? Do they want the Elise for Carbon, which is leaps and bounds above his Nidalee in terms of what he does for the team as well? Actually bolsters their lane swaps. I think there's a lot of reasons to go for the Elise, potentially in this first draft.
Well, they're thinking about their picks here. They go Lulu Morgana, so deny both of the potential disengage options there for the Kog'Maw. Kallista's still open, of course, but they can take that later if they want to. Legacy, I think, do the right thing here with that rotation.
They are potentially giving over the Gragas though.
Yep.
Still has a lot of merit with a Kog'Maw.
I
Also
think
mentioned Poppy.
Gragas Poppy. That's what I agree with.
Yep.
2 of the primary disengage champions, especially because Alistar is off the board. You could also still kind of go for a Janna if you want like a super disengage comp,
You
but
want disengage, you give him Heimerdinger Zyra. That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
really talking about the Warwick.
Oh, I'm ready for the Warwick. Get some attack speed going. Power up that Kog'Maw. Like really crappy Lulu. There's Gragas Trundle though, so get more of what we expected. No Poppy, but they do take the Trundle instead.
Yeah, Trundle can still be flexed, I guess, between support and top lane. There's 2 supports banned, so who knows what direction they'll take with that Trundle until their last rotation. Swiper picking up the Trundle is a big question. I don't think he's a Trundle player.
Doesn't feel like a Trundle player.
That's, yeah, I mean by
Yeah.
play style.
Yeah,
he's
that
much
makes
less
sense.
of a Trundle.
Again, like more of a tank slash, we heard it from the desk, tank slash Tryndamere. That is not a tank or Tryndamere, so have to see exactly where he goes with the pick. But he does that disengage. I think the flavor of the comp still makes sense with, you know, let's protect the Kog'Maw. Raid is a very good Kog'Maw player, so I think it makes sense to want to make sure he's protected. But Legacy are trying to kind of feel out the rest of this draft here. Didn't quite expect Akali, but it is Elise and Kallista. So Legacy, 4 out of 5 champions from their successful game 2, already in their hands.
He actually just typed Kali into the champion select and just found 2 champions. Oh, hang on, it's spelled almost the same. So, of course, they will go for the Kallista. The Elise makes a lot of sense, too. This is a strong draft from Legacy thus far. It's their game 2 draft.
Yep, which looked like a good draft for me. I guess the only question is, how much of a problem is Kog'Maw? Because that is the Chiefs' first pick here, and Raid is an excellent AD carry and Kog'Maw player in particular. And I guess right now, how do the Chiefs finish this draft? What are they looking to do to complete this composition?
I would still like to see. I want that Trundle to go into the support position.
Okay.
And I would still like to see Poppy as a priority there because I think she's massive. I don't think you can give it away for free. And if I was Legacy, that would be the last pick for me. I'd be like, bam, put Tally on Poppy. We're ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Literally the same comp from game
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
I agree with that. I think on the flip side,
Thank you.
should be taken, yeah.
Well, there's Victor. Definitely a comfort pick for Swiffer, despite being up and down in the metagame currently.
And there's so much safety for Victor in this composition simply because Gragas is on the same team, so you don't have the threat of the, what's the word, cast? I'm like Dunk, Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal
It is
on
kind
you.
of like a dunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, there's the Poppy we expected as well. So it will be support Trundle. Not the most aggressive bottom lane there for the Chiefs, which is probably something they're almost always known for, but they'll make it work. Still a good disengage support. I like what the Chiefs have done with their draft. It's just a matter of how the Legacy finish theirs. Are they taking Lulu mid up against a Victor, or are they going to give Juju's a different champion?
They're one of the few
Lysandra.
teams that actively flexes between mid and top lane. Lysandra is definitely one of the other considerations. They flex both of those champions between both of those lanes. With GP Bandit makes a lot of sense, as is Zed. They could just put Tally on top lane Lulu and be prepared for what is going to be a Chiefs lane swap being enacted and react accordingly.
Oh, wow. Graves top for
That's
Tally
aggressive.
is going to be the last pick into the Poppy.
Hasn't been picked a lot in the Poppy. Has a lot of sustain, especially once you get your first item. So hard to push a Graves out.
I also like it because I think they're predicting that a lane swap is coming
Yeah.
through right now, and obviously Graves is going to A, push towers quite effectively, but also double jungle very effectively.
Well, I like it here, but we'll have to see if these adjustments are enough for both these teams. Legacy, I'm going to say, did something pretty bold in this draft, giving Kog'Maw not just to a team, or to the Chiefs, but to Rady in particular. They must have had a plan. They don't have the Poppy this time for Tally to get the anti-carry going, but they have still a very good draft.
It's effectively a disengage comp, and you have Victor for zone control in front. So you have the disengage from Poppy as well as from Trundle with Pillar. Cast can be used offensively or defensively, but even if you get closer, like the fact that you're dealing with two different styles of range, you have Victor in front of you who's a mid-range mage, and then you have Kog'Maw who's extremely long range.
Unless the W's down,
Unless
which
the
is where
W's
Legacy
down.
can actually capitalize on them. And that's the big question mark here is, how do the Chiefs play these team fights? Because at the moment, you're right, it's a cascaded range difference where you've got tanks into the mid-range, into the long range. Very difficult for Legacy to get to that back line, especially with their top laner being Graves.
Well, here are the team comps for our final game between these two. The series has gone the distance. And of course, keep voting out there on Twitter and let us know who you think is going to win. Use the hashtag CHF win, hashtag LGC win. You guys have been awesome tonight so far. The fan support and the hype around the match is understandably very palpable. So keep that stuff going. We absolutely love it.
You know what Legacy's comp is right now compared to Game 2?
What?
It's close but no cigar.
Oh.
We've come full
Nailed
circle.
it.
What I
well,
want-
well done.
Yeah.
No, don't give it to him.
Hey, he gets that. That was
He
beautiful.
ditched my joke the first time.
And then improved it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This guy.
Well,
You can have credit. Like, I can give you credit.
Thanks for the assist.
if you guys see some bullet holes in the background next time they cut back to us, you know why. But we are going to get onto the riff for our final game between Chiefs and Legacy, as we'll see if these adjustments can make the difference here. The series has gone the distance. These two, there's a lot on the line here. Legacy continue their undefeated streak. Chiefs can claim the OPL Legend title. But most importantly, the best title of all is getting to say you beat the other guys.
Yeah, absolutely right. This does come down to pride as much as everything else. We've seen it in all the video pieces, all the comments. Swiffer, he said he's undefeated since the last time he's played against them. Effectively, this Chiefs roster undefeated against Legacy, but
I just want to say, though, going undefeated in 2015 on a best-of-1 format is far easier than going undefeated on a
Absolutely.
best-of-3 format.
you know what happens in best ofs when Legacy play against the Chiefs. The
Bad
past year,
things.
historically, Legacy have seen
Even I know that one.
Well, there's no Tally Riven this time. We'll see if the Graves can make a big play. But we are going to have Radius starting on the bottom side here with Ejim, and someone's putting up the screen. Proskurin.
They're
wants to talk
peeking their
about
head
lane
in.
swaps.
Yeah, there's a lane swap being initiated by Legacy. So unsure if they thought that Chiefs were going to swap and we're just trying to predict it, or if they want the swap themselves, but they are going to get it.
Yep, there is a swap in place, certainly. As you can see, the poll once again. Seems like Legacy's loss has bolstered the Chiefs fans. 56% to 44 now.
Carbon.
As Ejim is doing
Carbon's
work here.
dead.
Rady rotates
Oh
up.
my
Carbon's
God.
absolutely dead. He flashes for no reason. Rady gets the blue buff, and that's a perfect start for the Chiefs.
I have no idea what Legacy thought they were capable of doing. Their Carbon's too squishy. Ejim does a lot of damage on Trundle early, just hits the exhaust. Raider is hiding waiting for the moment to strike, just presses W and just oozes all over him. Wow, what a first blood.
They just got cheesed.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely did.
And Legacy pay for it. We have a look in the mid lane now.
I still think they should have zoned themselves towards the Wolves and maybe even just go over to red buff.
Yeah.
Make the trade. It still would have been a 2-buff start. Now they just put themselves really far behind in a lane swap scenario.
The only good thing that came out of this is that Kog'Maw won't really get to use his blue buff against an enemy because he's in PV. But that's about it. Otherwise, everything else was disaster.
Well, Radiant with the first kill. Always a dangerous proposition, particularly on a champion like Kog'Maw, as Carbon is level 1.
What a disaster.
Taking the Raptor camp. Now hits level 2. Spooks, by the way, already level 2, so he is off to a great start here. Halfway to 3. Might even take the Wolf camp away and get it.
I'm actually surprised that Carbon will be able to get his own blue buff, however. Now, naturally, Legacy do have the strong side of the map, but Chiefs could have been really cheeky and tried to deny that.
Yeah, and here's the cool thing as well about Graves into these compositions. Even though there's a poor start for Legacy, Graves is relevant. Even when behind in levels, he can match his lane opponent. Even when behind in farm, he can still kill his lane opponent because in a 1v1, he is very oppressive. So he can actually match people when behind. And even though Legacy have fallen behind in terms of their lane swaps, if it ever matches to standard and Legacy forces it, Swiper still can't kill him.
And it's the push through again, I believe, from Legacy. Swiper is going to bounce his way back and get himself the turret. But Legacy is pushing towards that tier 2, and there's no one here to stop it. In fact, they'll get some damage down onto it as well. But the Chiefs say, not again. We know that trick from last game. And they will come in to defend.
This is actually pretty poor from Legacy unless they can make this gank count.
They're looking for mid. They've got everyone here now. Spooks is in the area. Swiffer's there as well. Choo-Choo's need to look for a slow. Repel's been used there for Carbon. He's going to try and traverse the distance. Flash binding's not quite enough. Swiffer gets the maximum distance on that one.
2 flashes for 1. Great job from Swiffer. And Legacy needed to connect on that gank because they mismanaged their wave in the lane swap.
They're now not recalling and not getting effective items, or they recall and waste a lot of time. So across the board, disadvantages gained by Legacy of their own accord, even coordinating the flashes there.
I feel like they're floundering.
Well, perhaps a bit. Spooks and Regret actually the same level right now. Regret does a nice bit of poke damage with some help from the Spell Thieves, but it seems like we are going to move into inverted standard lanes. Towers are not going to be getting massacred in the early 7 minutes of this game.
Yeah, and this is out of necessity for Legacy also. I mentioned what Tally can do when behind, which is at least handy. But King manages to get the Vamp Scepter, and Radier is already ahead on the Kog'Maw, so they need to try and slow the bleeding, essentially, at this stage.
Want to note also that by putting the Kog'Maw and the Trundle in the extended lane, it's a safer option to do that than to have Poppy up there, simply because it's still relatively hard to gank a Trundle due to the pillar and the safety that he's going to offer him. But I do like the positioning that Carbon's taking by walking in through the lane.
Maybe expecting Spooks to be there, but he's actually bottom side right now. Tally could be in a bit of trouble. Swiper looks for the stun. Does get the W to cancel that quick draw. But Tally
Spooks has flash.
not back to safety because there's no tower. Tally, though, going to smoke screen down. Graves, pretty tough to kill.
Swiper trying to get the heroic charge stun against the tower base.
Sometimes Poppy's dash just feels like when it's hitting you, it goes longer, but when it's hitting someone else, it just doesn't, you know?
It's pretty much like Vayne Condemn.
Yeah.
Well, no dice there on that one for Swiper. As Carbon pretty aggressively moving into this jungle. Does get a ward down though. Nothing crazy going to happen as Radius just going to get zoned off the creep wave for a little while longer. Smart stuff here for Legacy. They know they need to keep the Kog'Maw down, as the Trundle Pillar is going to cut them off going through there. But it really just is a matter of time here for Chiefs. They'll be patient and wait for their creep wave. And in the meantime, Carbon and Regret will go ahead and take their Grump away.
Yeah, so they're keeping King alive. They're keeping King healthy, and they are denying a bit of farm onto Radier, which is important, as you mentioned. Problem is, Spooks was still bottom side, where Spooks potentially could have considered rotating elsewhere, or at least taking the objective when Tally was in base with Swiper, and just gone for the Dragon even. They just didn't do anything, so they kind of just let it happen. And it's by no means a bad decision, it's just that they're not getting the advantages they potentially could have had.
I say it's passively losing.
Yeah, see, it's still not losing by any means, because Swiper's farming against Tally, and he's getting further ahead. I just think it's just passively remaining stagnant instead of opening up the map.
It's fair.
Well, you can see Tally with triple longsword. So he's going to try and get some leverage into that lane. He's 10 CS behind though. So he's just going to go on for a wander. As Regret pokes his way into mid lane. Edim's there as well. He's going to babysit Swiffer for a little bit. And it seems like King is actually going to go back as well. So I might have to swap back perhaps. Although it could just be a collapse for the Dragon there as well. Whatever it is, Legacy moving most of their members down to this bottom lane now.
Yeah, I think Chu's actually just making towards the bottom lane, not actively pursuing anything down there. It's more to, even if it gives vision of where Chu's is, it still makes them respect it and be scared of him actually being able to be down there. And almost deters anything just by that. Which is a really quirky but cool thing that you can do in mid.
Well, you can see Chiefs are continuing to push top, but they take the wave, push it in, and know it's probably not safe to stay because they can't see Carbon right now. Also can't see Tally, but Legacy's duo returns to clean out this top wave, and will continue bouncing waves back and forth with the early land swap, opening up a lot of these side lanes. King, you can see Bilgewater Cutlass completed already, but Radiant shouldn't be too far off that Ginty's Rage Blade, so certainly early itemization starting to come up pretty quickly for these AD carries.
That said, it's an initial power spike for King here, simply because, and Rusty talks about this all the time, the build path for Kog'Maw is just so ineffective because you have to go pickaxe into Blasting Wand that you actually lose a ton of power while you're between items.
Yeah, thankfully he has ability power scaling, so on other champions such as Kalista, you know, it's not that great.
Not as good.
Kog'Maw does get some benefit from it, albeit
Wow,
inefficient
subtle.
in comparison to that of what King is building, which is just all stats that are benefiting him directly.
Well, Tally is going to clear this out. Swiper's done a nice job with a bit of help from Spooks, pushing this wave out, but Tally shouldn't have too much trouble there on the Graves. Although he is actually pretty far behind in CS right now. He's 30 down as he looks to clear out these waves, but again, CS leads are closer than they appear because waves do take a while to bounce, although poor Graves with only 2 bullets. Struggling just a bit to get some of those under the turret.
Yeah, he's got a cannon, so he can actually keep it here for at least another wave. We'll see how he freezes it, given that the cannon wants to go under the turret.
Aww.
Unlucky.
Sneaky cannon minion.
This minion aggro is a funny thing.
Certainly is the Swiffer going to take it back now as well. Rage Blade done for Radier as well, by the way, so that first blood gold boost helping out pretty substantially. He's got a Rage Blade in under 10 minutes into this one. Legacy, though, with all the members of Chiefs in the top half, are going to look to take this Dragon. Should be able to get it. Nice decisive little move here from Legacy. But right now, they're kind of just caught back, making sure that Kog'Maw doesn't do too much damage.
That said, as soon as they see the Dragon go down, it should give them the trigger to pull to take down top tower and trade an objective for it, simply knowing that Legacy have their resources on the bottom side of the map.
Radier, though, taking a tower. Kog'Maw takes a little while with the old Rage Blade, but he's going to get it. And there's no one here to answer this time for Legacy. Eat him off to the side, making sure everything's okay. Radier pops the W, absolutely destroys that creep wave. And Swiper is maybe in trouble of getting dived here. Nice red buff applied there from Carbon. Just going to wait for the juke. Does get Swiper, but Poppy a little too tanky. Legacy just trying to answer the turret.
Yeah, they're just trying to trade turrets. The thing is,
Chiefs have the better posture on this.
yeah, and they were way too far ahead. I guess the only positive is this. They still have the teleport. Potentially, if it comes down to it, Choose has his as well.
Edom in trouble, perhaps, but Legacy, Tally on
Tally's
mana.
dead.
Radier just moving it out. The ult's there, good enough for execution. Now Regret's dead as well, perhaps. Binding will not land. Choo-Choo's has to come up as well. And Radier, again, just such an easy kill.
Like, Choose is now in trouble as well, though, because they have like 5 wards inside Legacy's topside jungle. He rotated up via walking and actually gave vision of where he is on the way up there. Raider is allowed to play this aggressively.
And Spook's also getting in there. Black Shield and the Wild Growth burn to try and keep the Morgana alive. Choo-Choo's is going to get gravity fielded up, though, and Chiefs are going to get a tower for themselves. Swiper does deflect him in bottom as well. And again, an interesting macro game, and this time it's Chiefs that are ahead.
The error from Legacy was keeping Carbon bot with King, trying to siege into Tally as opposed to immediately putting the Elise into the top lane to assist his team as soon as Tally fell.
Certainly cost them there, as no tower down in the bottom side, and Chiefs do get themselves a tower lead and the Rift Herald.
And a 3k gold lead, even more importantly.
You just have to question why they banned
They're fighting over
Corki
it.
over the Kog'Maw.
Well,
Like, at what point was Corki the actual winning factor in these, especially in the second game when you have the exact same draft?
They might have thought that Swiffer would be unable to play anything relevant.
And also heavily prioritized not Poppy.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Poppy's way too good.
But they save, so the thing is, like Legacy's drafting, they save it as a flexible factor, their last pick. Can also be their downfall in terms of what they give the opposition team. Swiper right now, he's going to be massive.
Well, he is actually already pretty massive. Just from farm alone, you can see Tally in the Graves not able to quite get stuff done, mainly because of that lane swap. I think he would have much preferred the 1v1. But instead, it is Radier 2-0 already, with the Runins very quickly on the way. He thought his Rage Blade came up quickly. Hurricane should be up pretty shortly.
Whoa.
And that's not going to work out. Tally down there, but Swiffer's just going to flash over the wall.
Is that cast?
Yeah. That's a teleport as well.
All right, Chief's going to get aggressive.
What an
Swiper wants to
odd
find a
fight.
flash, but just TP's in for nothing. Chiefs might just turn this into a siege. But it's a bit of an odd conversion. Wave clear there from the Morgana and the Graves.
So Regret actually walked himself into minions with the Kalista ultimate. And the problem with that is it pushes you back, bounces you to your auto attack range. And so he was nowhere near being in range of Swiffer. They don't get what they were looking for, it's just a Hail Mary binding, and Carbon evidently using his repel to dodge the explosive cask at the same time, which I believe Spooks was using to disengage and save Swiffer.
Well,
He flashed.
I also want to quickly touch on kind of how Tally found himself so far behind on this Graves. It wasn't necessarily the lane swap, because it was actually, again, Legacy that initiated the lane swap, and Graves does very well into that. It was the fact that it was just so mismanaged, because they tried to push it through after taking the tower as opposed to bouncing the wave. So that one mistake has kind of led to this issue that they now have.
Well, pretty big issue right now as Legacy do find themselves significantly behind at 14 minutes into this one. Dragon coming back up in minute 50. So Legacy have one of those, which is a nice little consolation, I suppose.
Thank you. This is what you do. This is how you set up a siege when you can't siege into a blue buffed up wave clear mid. You apply pressure into the mid lane, you move into the jungle in between the two lanes that you're applying pressure, you lay down what's called triangle vision. As soon as the Chiefs move out, you're going to see all of their wards in there. And you just chip away, and eventually you either catch them out in their own jungle, or you take a tower for free.
Well, tower getting low, so Legacy might have to force the issue. Binding's not going to go, though. Regret's actually now in
Regret's
trouble.
dead.
He's absolutely dead as Radier.
King.
This does so much damage. King eats the cast. He's forced to flash back into his team. Swiffer fishing for a laser in the backlines, but the Chiefs get a kill and the turret.
And this is why I fell in love with the Chiefs the first time that I saw them at the International Wildcard. That is exactly what you do. You caught the Morgana cheating through the vision. You easily catch her out, delete her from the map, take the 4v5, grab the objective.
Sooner or later, someone makes a mistake with vision. Chiefs are the ones this time to control the macro play, and Spawn even mentioned it on the desk. We very rarely see the Chiefs get out macroed. This is a case of giving them a good draft and a good start to the game. You should never give the Chiefs roster because they can run away with it. And at 15 minutes in the game, it almost feels like it's slipping away.
Yeah, 4K up now for the Chiefs with some backs to come in and some major items to be purchased. We have a few items finished for Legacy, though. They've pretty much all got one at this point. We're going to be dwarfed in comparison to Radier, who now has the Hurricane at under 16 minutes. He is just an absolute wrecking ball.
When you look at a composition, you need to understand what the core of the comp is. So the core on both these comps is actually going to be the 80 carry, but as I try to deep dive on this color point, they want to fight.
Always.
Free goal.
But the reason why they want to fight is because their core of their composition is online. It's the Kog'Maw, it's the Kalista. And it's not necessarily always the carries, although a lot of the time it can be, especially in a hyper carry meta. And so you have to say, if the core of our comp is Kog'Maw, when is he strong? 2-item power spike. So when he's strong, that's when we fight, that's when we take the objectives. Radier is entirely online. The Chiefs understand that, and that's why suddenly the go button is on, and they're going to take everything that they can.
Even the Chiefs posturing, they're all in front of Raider.
Yep, Spook's actually going to block that Cocoon. Nice black shield there onto Carbon. Going to protect him from Swiper's attempt, but good flash in for Spooks. He finds Carbon, but that's going to force the repel out. Does get out to a very cheeky minion, but Radier's doing so much damage. He's going to get exhausted up. That might just save the Legacy jungler's life. But the Chiefs just keep going.
On the other side of that, you ask what is the core of the composition for Legacy. Again, it's an 80 carry because they're playing a protect the 80 carry comp. Kalista also a 2-item power spike, but the problem is that she's so far behind Radier, only has the Blade of the Rune King complete, so until Legacy have those 2 items, their comp is dead in the water.
Well, going to have to buy some time then, it seems like, as Tally is in the top lane, clearing out what he can. He's level 10. Which I guess is actually pretty high for the current state. In fact, Lulu's the highest level in the game, so ignore me for now. Tally doing well for himself. Has a Death Dance actually as his first item, so starting to see this pick up popularity.
Death Dance, Phantom Dancer as well as the other item that a lot of Graves are going. Not bad, especially once you have a Stark's Gauge, so we'll see where he goes with this, what direction he actually wishes to take. Not a lot of direct burst in the Chiefs, but Raider is honestly just something that needs to be respected. He's commanding respect right now.
He's actually solo pushing topside.
Exactly.
Although friends are joining him, but you can certainly see the space that Legacy are giving this Cogmore.
It's 2 items to 1 on AD carries as well. Like, at the moment, Raider is just so big that Legacy are going to continue to passively lose until they feel like they've hit item spikes to the point where they want to try and fight.
And once again, Radier gets himself the Rift Herald, gets the buff. Going to go back top lane, keep pushing. Almost 50 CS leads opened up between the AD carries as well. Legacy going to have to dig pretty deep because they're 5k down at this point.
So again, the next easiest objective to take on the map is going to be that mid tower. But what they need to do is apply pressure. Are they going to catch them? Apply pressure into the bot lane or getting it pushed, as well as chipping away on the mid tower. Baron will be up in 1 minute 40 seconds. If they can make a significant pick when Baron's up, then they just translate onto that objective.
And you can see the Chiefs are going to start this siege mid. Legacy are not in position to try and defend it, but a binding will land onto Spooks. They'll lock him down with the Cocoon. They burn Morgana ulti as well, but Radier keeping everybody back right now. Spooks will die to King, and now Radier is the obvious target. They need to chase him down. They'll force the flash there as Ejin's also moving in. Swiper burns the ulti, but Swiffer takes that King on the backside. He's going to move in. That's another kill as Radier going absolutely crazy. Tally is forced to flash out from under that ulti, and the Chiefs win a messy fight 3-for-1.
Chiefs working around their cooldowns very nicely here, take down so many members of Legacy. They are not able to respond. This Graves top lane just isn't doing enough at the moment. The AD carry that Raider is putting on display, showing exactly why this champion deserves a ban more often than not. What a commanding start to this game from the Chiefs.
And that was a 4v5. Effectively, Spooks was deleted from that fight before Swiper even got involved with it. But that just speaks, again, to what Rusty's saying, how strong Kog'Maw is and how strong Kog'Maw is on Radier.
Yep, 7,500 gold now as Radier's going to go back. Let's watch this again, though.
So big thing is, look at Spooks. He's pretty much donezo before this fight happens. Now look at your minimap, see where Poppy is. So Chiefs right now, Legacy have the advantage. They're backing up. As soon as the cavalry arrive, he actually misses everything with that ult. They immediately turn it around, and Radier just starts wreaking havoc with his team in front of them.
Yeah, the cool thing was the cavalry was also Swiffer on a massive flank. He basically deleted 3 people at the exact same time. So turning the fight completely around, as Radier was actually turned into a critter for an extended period of time. Wasn't actually able to help the team. So well done from the Chiefs with the flank from their mid lane.
Yep, without teleport as well. That's just very good positioning from Swiffer. A nice executed team fight there for the Chiefs. And they're starting to really put Legacy down in this series. Baron, of course, is definitely a threat. And why not start it? There's a ward in the back, though. Chiefs don't care.
I don't think
really
they
don't.
see it.
I think they do.
I honestly don't even think about
I
it.
do not see it.
Well, it might not matter, as Rusty said. Regret. Oh, going to take a lot of damage here. Swiffer's trying to find an execution. Baron getting low.
Oh, Tally!
Oh my god, he moves
Swiffer.
in and steals it.
Never mind.
Oh, no, Spook's got it. It's Swiffer that goes down. Sorry, that gets the kill. There's now Carving going to get jumped on. It's all okay. Chiefs have the Baron. They do have to run, though, because Legacy are continuing to chase them.
Oh, excellent
But the pillar goes up.
Yeah, wow. So
Damn
the
you,
Chiefs,
Tally.
Chiefs do get the Baron. Of course, Tally just happens to pick up a kill. That is dangerous now, though, for Legacy. The pressure that can be exerted on them moving forward here is tough.
King also that much closer to having his second item complete. Again, that's going to be the big power spike that Legacy are looking for and to protect the AD carry comp. But like you said, Tally is also starting to become a threat.
They also need... So it is 2 items for Tally. They also need the death cap for Choose, and that is actually quite good. And honestly, we were looking at their last draft in Game 2 and saying, who does Choose actually ult? It was the Poppy before. This time at Graves is a very good target to ult if you would Choose, because he is close to being in the front line, and he does an abundance of damage. We're still all eyes on Cogmore.
I mean, can't help it, really. Cogmore is just such a strong champion. And Radier has really put on a show today. 5-0-0 currently as the Chiefs. About 8,000 gold up also, although it's actually a bit closer to 7 after that last engage. Now going to shove it down this bottom side of the map. Dragon's coming up soon. Baron's not up, so picking the correct side of the map once again.
Yeah, smart play. Very good map movements from the Chiefs. Not an easy thing to siege, though. Once again, it's Elise Morgana.
Really, they're just working in between Radier's W.
Well, they already used it to Siege, actually, so have to be a bit careful, maybe.
And minions mid is the other thing. So top lane's pushing for Legacy, which is good. But look at the Chiefs start to put down the pressure, even with positioning, when Legacy shows mid lane at all.
You can see Swiper actually maybe hoping to catch someone move through. Can at least ulti them out of the way if something would start. The Chiefs more than happy to play patiently. Mid inhibitor still applying that pressure. And the Chiefs going to move in for this turret. Swiper charges up the Poppycopter. Does get one. And that tower's dead, I think. E-Team is going to be the target. Legacy going to try and start a fight, but Spruce gets a massive double ulti. Huge wall growth in there as well, but King's already dead. Radier well and truly alive in the back lines, and Tally, he's going to fall down there as well. That's 3 for 0 as the Chiefs break bottom.
Chiefs just step it up one more time.
They have a wave behind them. They can end the game.
Well, they're going to try to. First Nexus turret's going to look to go down, and it will melt here. Does too much damage. Carbon even off to the side. Don't know what he's doing there exactly, but Radier, he's just going to clean him up. Choo Choo's going to try and defend, but they can't quite do it, and the Chiefs will clean up here in 23.5 minutes. They'll take the OPL Legend title off of Legacy and quite possibly take back the throne.
I tell you what, Chiefs are back. Swiffer's back, and everyone was saying, no Swiffer, no clue, you know? Well, it feels like Swiffer came back, and the rest of the Chiefs decided that they wanted to start winning as well. It's not a one-man affair. Just because he's there, the rest of the team just feels more cohesive behind him.
Just such a smooth game there from the Chiefs. Legacy, they're going to handle their first loss. They can say, okay, that's fine. One's okay. We expect to lose one. But to take 2 games of Legacy is not easy, and that's exactly what Chiefs did. Both their wins looked very good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it came down to drafting. So, to me, it was dictated a lot by early macro movements and drafting. Chiefs just came up trumps.
Certainly did, and we're going to break down more with that series. Let's talk about our new OPL Legends, the Chiefs. We're going to pop back to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, and what a series out of the Chiefs. In the end, victorious 2-1 over Legacy and your new OPL Legend champions. But let's take a look at that game, because 23 minutes, the most convincing game of the set. I think it's very fair to play, and an emphatic victory for the Chiefs.
That was ridiculous. And look, it was a highlight reel from so many of the players as well. I mean, the Cogmore on Radiant, like, it should never happen. Just flat out, he should never get that champion. We said it already when they were up against Trident. Let it through. Like, he was playing it before Cogmore was stupid. Cogmore's stupid now. Don't let him do that. Okay? He's never going to pick Callista instead. Leave them both open. He's going to pick Cogmore, and he's going to kill everyone.
And then look at Spooks. Spooks was just knocking people all over Summoner's Rift and allowing that Cogmore to just spray and pray whoever's close to him.
Yeah, he certainly did. And it was, I guess, the map movement as well that really set the tone. We spoke about it in Game 2. Legacy, credit to them, hit back really hard, and their map movement, in my opinion, was flawless. Like, every single right decision you can make in League of Legends, they made it in Game 2. This time around, a little bit slow. The rotation into the mid lane, they pushed through on the tier 2 turret. Looked like there was just something off in their step, and the Chiefs were able to respond.
Yeah, it was just a case of it being the other foot this time. I mean, Legacy were just that little bit further behind, and we know that when Chiefs can actually dictate pace, they look so much better, and that was just where Legacy dropped the ball. It was a little bit unfortunate. But honestly, these two teams are so ridiculously close. If this had gone to a 5-game series, I wouldn't know where it was going to go.
From the very start of the game, it almost felt like Legacy already dropped the ball. You allowed Cogmore to pick up first blood inside your own jungle.
I was just going to omit that one.
It just went downhill from
Certainly
from
set
right
the pace
there.
of the game, though, and that kind of what it led to for Legacy. So in the end, it is going to be Chiefs that are 2-1 victorious. As we take a look at the results from the week, on Monday night, it was Avant-Garde 2-0ing Infernum, whilst tonight Trident with the upset over Direwolves, and your new OPL Legends, the Chiefs, 2-1 Legacy, and what is Legacy's first loss. Tomorrow night, we do have Hellions versus Sin, another very important game that will impact playoffs. That's at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. However, let's take a look at the standings and see where everyone is currently sitting. Legacy still on top of the table, but finally with one loss, whilst the Chiefs are second and challenging. Sin are third place right now, 5-3, whilst Direwolves are 5-4. Avant-Garde still with that chance at playoffs, and of course, Hellions are right there behind them. Infernum and Trident will round out the table now, 2-7.
Yeah, and one thing I do need to update everyone on as well is the fact that Spawn's beard is still possible for next season.
Not a chance.
This is very, very important because the Chiefs still could finish up 4th. So make sure you're watching Hellions versus Sin so that we can discover what is going to happen with that bid.
We certainly will discover it. However, guys, that's all we've got in store for you tonight. Thank you so much for sticking around on behalf of myself, the analyst, desk casters, and the entire production crew. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m.